I mean, just even the thought of taking an operating system that displays advertisements in my task manager is so fundamentally disgusting to me. It's, I mean, you can clean that out and you can disable everything, but even the fact that you have to do that you have to run these de-bloating scripts and de-advertisement scripts and stuff, like how is that even a thing that you even can tolerate? I don't get it. I have to make an app. Yeah. Yeah. It's the same, I think, with trying to reliably making applications go full screen. It's like an NP hard problem in Windows. And your boss is correct to be pissed, but he's pissed at you. He should be pissed at Microsoft for sloppifying their entire OS to a degree where you can't even make an app be borderless. I have to go. Yeah, that does sound like a task that you need 50 Google engineers for. And they probably came up with a solution that you can't even adopt to your situation. Just out of interest, because you probably did, what did the ChatGPT or Grok, or what did the AI tell you about how to do that? The Chrome test suite catches regress in Windows. Like, is that a task that an AI system can tell you about? It just makes stuff up. Dang. So we will know that we will have achieved AGI when ChatGPT can make your Windows application borderless. And then Sam Altman can make a tweet about having achieved AGI internally. Oh. Hang on, I had this meme image sometime about this, right. Just imagine the support calls, you know? Why is my entire thing transparent? Well, did you use magenta? Yeah, well, why is that a problem? Oh, it's a draw again. Yeah, well, I mean, you just what you need to do is you just document it. Just document that, and then in the interface, make it impossible to use magenta. And whenever somebody hovers over magenta, you just tell them, no, can't have that. And here, this is the meme I want to do. So if your boss is annoyed at you, and he tells you, why isn't this done yet? You know, because that's always what they say. They imagine that making a window transparent is just something that you do, and what they don't get is this here. Yep. I mean, the thing is, the client is correct. They are correct in thinking, well, that should just be an obvious, like there should be a checkbox somewhere in some API where they say, no, I do want this to be transparent, or I do want this to be borderless. And they imagine when they schedule your work, well, that should be an hour. Like, look up the documentation, press the button, and you're done. Nope, it's not that. And every time people complain about build chains being slow, it's like, yeah, well, but that's just compiling, you know? That's what we do in the end, and it's fine. But the fact that you have to compile over and over and over again because you have to check 2,000 possible ways of trying to make something transparent or borderless, and every time you have to wait. How slow is that? Like, your compiler is like 10 minutes? That's now latency. Latency in trying to get the thing done. It's an hour. And do you need to have a full rebuild to find out whether your solution worked? Or is it, well, still 30 seconds. If it takes 30 seconds, you know what I do in 30 seconds? I get bored and I tab over to the browser and I'm now out of context. And now it takes me 5 minutes to get back into context. And now my output will be worse every single time. This is also the same thing why I get annoyed at Rust developers who pretend like, well, it's just build times and we're getting all this developer experience out of that. It's like, yeah, well, if your build is taking even seconds, then you're losing so much productivity. Whoa. Yeah. I think I told this story before. In the company that I was at, we had a front-end build pipeline to like compile JavaScript and CSS and stuff. And we had back then it was, I think, Gulp. First it was Grunt, and then it was Gulp. So every half year in front-end development, there's a new build pipeline. Right now it's Vite. And back then, the new and hot stuff was Webpack. And every single time, all they're doing is the thing that I'm doing in my Hypermake, which is run, good old Webpack, right? They run a dependency graph, they execute a few command line scripts, and that's it. That's what all the front-end pipelines do. And sometimes they, for weird reasons, include an entire web server for that. It's insane. But back when I was at the company, when I saw, well, we had Grunt, and now we have Gulp, and now we want to use this new thing. But what are we actually trying to achieve here? We're just trying to compile JavaScript and CSS. Like, that's not hard. That's a command line task that you can run. So I literally built a script that compiles a make file that you can just execute. And it ran the full thing ran in 10 seconds, and incremental builds were in under a second, because that's like nothing. So I finished the whole thing. It outputted readable make files that everybody can understand. And it made a build pipeline that started to take minutes, just take at most 10 seconds and usually like a second. And can you imagine what they ended up doing? I even showed that to the team lead who was looking for new solutions, and they even liked that. But in the end, obviously, they went with Webpack. And now their build pipeline, every single time, every CI task, every time a user wanted to recompile stuff, it took at least a minute. And full builds, I think eventually they stacked up because they then included some testing in there. It was just completely insane. You have to, that's just what happens sometimes. Sometimes you just have to delete node modules because it gets weird. And maybe you have not used NPM, but Yarn. Back when I was at the company, Yarn was the new and hot stuff. So you had some people working with Yarn and some people working with NPM. And I think the main difference was that they did path resolution slightly differently. So sometimes you had failed builds. And my task as the token front-end guy was telling them, no, the solution is literally you need to delete node modules and rebuild it. It's insane. But yeah, they went with Webpack, and the build times just climbed up, and all they needed to do is have a make file. Oh yeah. Quick. Yeah. Quick builds matter. And the thing, I think the important part that people don't get about this is people have literally no taste for this, because what they don't get is the secondary effects of things being slightly slow, because you lose so much productivity. And also you get developers accustomed to software being bad. If you as a developer are kind of accustomed to thinking that build times that even take tens of seconds is fine, then how are you ever going to build software that is tolerable to users? And the fact that we have so much intolerable software tells you exactly what's happening. And that's the old thing about the purpose of a system is what it does. The whole purpose of all this is just literally to make people seem smart and be able to pretend that there's a lot of complicated stuff happening. But in my case, with the build pipeline, it was literally just figure out the dependencies and run a terminal application. And that's all there is to it.